ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelt.
Blood on your hands, like the poison on my fang. I'm a lady with a gunfire, bang, bang, bang. Cause I'm the dynamite, you don't wanna fight. I go boom, boom, boom when I kiss you bad night.
And you got lean, man. Since the last time I've seen you.
That's a compliment. Thank you.
No, you have. Are you happy? Like this seems more like natural, man.
Yeah, this looks a little better, no?
I'm cool. Whatever makes you happy.
Cool, lovely. Let's go. I think it is better.
Great. All right, how have you been?
Nothing much work. I was in Expo last month
Yeah.
doing that concert on the 19th.
Yeah.
And then now I'm majorly working on all the Expo concerts. We have whatever they have planned.
Yeah.
Then Sir's work and everything is going on fine so far. I mean, as
Right.
per the plan. Let's see how it goes ahead.
Great. Awesome. Okay, then we are good to start then, yeah?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Mr. Shubham in the house. I'm excited, dude. And look, we obviously met in the month of July, no? It was July.
May. Khadija's wedding.
Not May. June.
June.
I came in June, and we met there, and we had some great conversations on the dinner table. It was pretty deep and technical, I think, and then and then that is when I clearly mentioned to you that you have to come on the podcast for sure. And then I've been very excited, man, and I just want to ensure that I don't miss out on anyone part of this journey. So it's been phenomenal knowing you, and then of course we have kept in touch since the time we met. And then I am looking at all your updates with all the stuff that you're working on. Very proud of you, dude. And
Thanks a lot.
makes me happy when I see you know like engineers like yourself taking pride and showcasing things that you're working on, and taking pride in working on some of the amazing projects. So all the updates and stuff like that, I do keep an eye. And then I absolutely love seeing those success stories, if I can put it that way. So
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Chandar. It's I don't take the credit because we have such an amazing boss. You get to do it's more interesting work than you actually can think of you could have done before. With the profile he gives you, with the name we have, I mean, it's really privileged to be a part of the journey which Sir has headlined, and just be a small part of it. And it's just an empowering thing to even look at him and get to be a part of such magnificent projects that he does. I mean, we are just lucky. We are just lucky.
of course,
That's alone.
we're all lucky to be part of this era called ARR, and
Exactly.
this era is forever. ARR forever.
Exactly.
That's how I'd like to put it. And dude, the thing is, I mean, this podcast is your podcast, and you're going to be talking about your journey and your experiences with Sir, and anything that you would like to talk about. And this is your opportunity to express yourself, man. And so don't stop yourself. And this podcast journey has been phenomenal for the last 2.5 years that I've been working on. And I'm not even sure if this journey will ever happen again. So let's make the most of it. And I would like you to, express yourself, and then let's cherish this memory in the form of a podcast down the line when you're married and when you have kids. When they have a look at this podcast or this interview, it might bring a smile on their faces. So, so I really like to cherish this, as much as you would do too. So please don't stop yourself. And then I've got a lot of stuff to talk about. And but the best part is I'm going to be doing less of talking, and then you would be doing more of talking. So I'll only be giving you cues, and then I'll let you deep dive and then go crazy. So, dude, I mean, I want to kind of start off in some sort of a chronological order. So, you being a fan, clearly you were a fan, and then and then at some point you decided to go and start studying at KM. So let's start right from that stage of your life where you were and you still are and you'll ever be, right, Sir's fan. So let's go from there, man. Talk me through it. What's been your childhood like? Where was the music influence? How did you come into it? And why music programming? Tell me all that stuff.
Yeah. So, first of all, I'd like to mention that till I was in my 10th grade, I had no interest in music,
Right.
no matter what. My father is a music teacher. My father was a music teacher. So he himself, like, used to play harmonium, he used to sing, he used to
Mm.
play for orchestras long before. But I was not really much into music when the early stages of my life. But I think in around 10th, after finishing my 10th standard, I started learning keyboard. And
Mm.
the first song I remember preparing would be Eh Hai Rate Aashiki.
Mm.
The first song, if you remember, there's this one accordion interlude in that song. That interlude I was trying to prepare, and I was like, oh my God, this is so pretty. That's when I started getting into music, slowly learning some Western classical music. Listening to Sir was always like one of the pleasure. We have been privileged to get to listen to his music. Hamma Hamma, that time, Urvashi, Hamdam Suniyo. Oh my God. Those old songs, they were so good. Roja, obviously.
Mm.
So we were obviously listening to Sir's music a lot. And then in 2011, in my engineering, I'll remember those bus rides. I had entire my earphones and Rockstar album throughout. That was my journey from I think my college was some 20 kilometers away from my home. So I used to put in earplugs, just play Rockstar full album till I reached the college and come back with the same album on. So that album was one of the, it's still one of the most redefining albums for me.
For sure.
It's, if you still listen to Rockstar, it sounds like it's 2022. It's not
100%.
2011.
Yeah.
The quality of this thing which Sir has given in that album, oh my God, it's brilliant.
Mm.
Then I think after I finished my engineering,
What engineering? Like, what field did you study in?
so I studied mechanical engineering from
Right.
Nagpur.
Right.
I finished my engineering, so I wanted to do a song. I was lucky enough to get Shankar Mahadevan sir for the song.
Mm.
I recorded him off, but that time it was just like a hobby. It never was a profession for me. So I just recorded the song off, and Shankar ji, being sweet, he said, like, I did your song just to motivate you into to come into music, because I want young musicians like you to come up. And I really got, I really got very obliged by the gesture which he did for us. And finally, in 2016, during my job, I realized I was not interested in the work, and somehow my attention got into music.
Mm.
So then the engineer who dubbed me in, and I recently got to know that I did Shankarji's recording in PDMS, which is Premier Digital Mastering Studio, headed by Aditya Modi. I met him in Firdaus, and then I got to know that it's Modi ji's studio which I recorded in. And such a small world. And I was like, okay, lovely. So there was an engineer named Hari Krishnan. I met him, and he was like, dude, you don't know anything. You need to go learn. You really don't know anything. You wasted this opportunity with Shankarji. And I was like, doesn't matter. Everything counts for an experience. So he suggested me you should go and study in A.R.Rahman Music School.
Right.
That's how I came into KM Music Conservatory. I started from preparatory course. I took prep piano.
Mm.
Started off, but I wanted to always do that full-time course in KM.
Mm.
So I joined that foundation course under Adam. He
Yeah.
was my teacher. And then slowly started learning piano. I was not into production till like late 2018. I started music programming only in 2018. Till then, I was just playing piano. So I
Right.
started learning piano from Adam. Fatima ma'am was there. She was, I really call her like one of the most biggest influence of my life.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one who helped me in everything.
Like
Like
what?
she helped me for everything. So she made sure that I got opportunities. So my first interaction with Sir would come in around 2017.
Mm.
We had a show in Delhi called the Sufi Route.
Mm.
And I was a very new keyboard player. I didn't know how to play much. I've never played in an ensemble like Sufi ensemble. And Sufi ensemble, playing in Sufi ensemble is actually a bliss. If you've attended any of our Sufi shows, you'll realize that, oh my God, it's really pretty. It's
Mm.
really like, amazing feel. It's just so pure and blissful. So
Mm.
Munna sir and Jyoti ma'am were hiring for a new show which was supposed to come in Sufi Road 2017. November 18th, I remember the date. Yeah.
Mm.
So they were like, it's Sir's concert. And I wasn't even sure that I'd get considered. There was another guy who used to play keyboards. Unfortunately, he couldn't come. And I think Munna sir, Fatima ma'am told, like, let's try Shubham, use him. And Munna sir said, okay, let's get him. And that was my first opportunity, even in Sir's, to see Sir for the first time, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had our rehearsals, then we had our show on 18th. Sir came on 16th or 15th for the first time when I saw him. Oh my God. That is the moment I'll never forget. I remember Sir coming,
Mm.
everyone is freezed out. He took his continuum, he started playing. He started improvising for 3 hours. And
Mm.
we were like, every one of us was in an utter bliss because we have never heard stuff like this.
Mm.
And they have all my friends from the ensemble who were singers and always just looking at each other and just enjoying the music, what Sir was playing. It was so brilliant. It was so amazing and so natural that. So that's how I got into. That's how I met Sir for the first time.
Mm.
And we played a concert. We played two concerts in that year. We did one in Delhi and then immediately one in Royal Opera House, Bombay. After that, 2018 was my diploma too. I quit piano and I just during this concerts time, Parag was there. You know Parag.
Yeah, yeah.
Parag was our music supervisor for the show. So Parag started doing stuff which I found intriguing, like EQing, basic productions,
Mm.
which I found it really interesting. And by the time I reached Dip 2, I quit piano and started music production from fresh. I had no idea how to use Logic before.
Mm.
I was really not at all into production. And suddenly, after this concert, I shifted from performer to production. 1 year of intense working because it takes a lot when you just start everything from fresh in your final year. But did some stuff, learned. KM taught me everything. KM was the source of all the everything which I know today is because I've been there in
Mm.
that place. If that place doesn't exist, wouldn't have existed, I wouldn't have existed. So my entire knowledge had come from game. Started learning. Adam helped. Prithvi sir was my teacher. He helped me a lot. Then Fatima ma'am was always someone who pushed me ahead. Whenever I had some doubt, whenever I had to talk to her regarding anything, I would go to her and she was very sweet about it. Then during my internship, Fatima ma'am's also recommended my name to Suresh ji. And Suresh Anna then got in touch with me, and that's how I started my internship with Sir.
Right.
So it's like a
Amazing.
it's like a very very zigzag story from not completely interested into music to working starting internship for the best in the world,
Nice.
the best
Nice.
right now. So
Of
yeah.
course. We're going to deep dive into your internship and then the journey ahead. We'll do that in a bit, but I want to take a couple of steps back and then your experience at KM. And of course, you did mention about the fact that, everything that you have learned is as part of your journey at KM. What are some of the memories of studying at KM, and then what is it like studying there, and what is it like getting? Can I say Fatima ma'am has been probably one of your mentors?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, she has been the one who has given me a lot of direction and showed
Mm-hmm.
trust in me. Whenever I had, if if she was not around, would not say that I would have ever gotten to work with her. She is the only sole reason that I am standing here at a place where I can work. I can say that I work for him. If it's all about because of her. If she was not there, I couldn't have been able to do this.
So was it
Fatima
your
ma'am,
dream to work with him, um, and
yes.
then you approached her, or how did that happen?
Yes. So I always wanted to work for Sir because I wanted to be a composer on my own. And it's a step that you need to go assess someone. You need to learn from the best. And when we get to work from for someone like Sir, you learn so much
Mm,
that none of the conservatories in the world can teach you that. Because that because when you work for someone like Sir, it's like an experience
mm,
of its own. No teacher can teach you how to handle situations the way when you learn on the job and with this much at stake. So it has been a very empowering journey in order to learn how to, how to deal with situations, how to be quick. I mean, it took me 1 month to finish a song when I was in dip 2. Now it takes me 4 hours. So the difference of that comes when you go work in a professional environment. So I always wanted to work for him. I always wanted to see his workflow, how he did such magic and
mm.
such deep work. And the only way I could do it was because of Fatima ma'am, because she stood
Yeah,
and she said, okay, Shubham can do it and let's give him that opportunity. So she recommended me, to which when I went to Panchatan and started interning.
understand.
About KM, I would say when I started, I knew nothing. I
Mm.
mean, literally nothing. I
So
knew
it was like
very,
pretty much a clean canvas.
yeah, exactly. I knew like very basic keyboards, but I couldn't play immediately. I need to prepare a song and
So
play
is that
stuff like
how
that.
you chose a piano course to start with?
Yeah, yeah, because I knew keyboards
Okay.
before, but I used to play very plain. I had no idea on how to improvise, nothing. So I learned everything on the. When I came to KM, I started playing. I saw the piano for the first time in KM, honestly,
Mm,
a grand piano.
mm,
Then once I came here, I got some new friends. We used to jam around. We used to practice. Then small Western classical classes. Started learning new pieces. Got to know how to pronounce Chopin. When I was in school, I used to call him Chopin. So things like this changed when you come to KM, and then it has been an interesting journey. You learn so much because there are a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent in KM.
mm,
I have so many of my friends who are doing so well in the industry right now.
mm-hmm,
And they have been also, we all started together. So we share that journey together.
mm,
Then I started learning piano with, started jamming around with singers. And, that's how I started building up my skill. Then foundation. When I joined foundation, I had no idea how to read theory, how to read sight read music. And I had literally no idea how to read music completely. So I had to start from basic. All my teachers were supportive. Adam, Jimmy, Matt, they all taught us, like, they all took their patience and they taught us well. And somehow we started getting to understand how to actually work, and how the basics of music can be gotten better, how to get better with the basics of the music. Adam worked a lot on my technique. I had a very terrible technique when I started. Adam worked on my technique. He changed the entire way of my playing. And that's how those basic things will only shape your
right.
entire this thing, so
When you
entire
say
music.
technique, what sort of technique? Just curious.
So there are techniques as to how you play piano.
Mm.
And when you play keyboard, you play it in a very different way. When you play a piano, it's played in a very different way.
Also, may
So
I
the
ask? Sorry to interrupt, but in this context, I've seen some clips of Adam playing piano, and
hmm,
he sits in a certain posture when
yeah.
he plays. Was Should that also be considered as a technique? Is that
Yes.
something? Okay.
Yes. So the posture is really important because when I'm playing the piano, I have to get entire of my movement through my shoulders
Right.
so that I apply enough pressure without harming my wrist. Because you see, the piano is an hammer action keyboard. So if you have seen a piano, there are strings and there's hammers. So
Right.
if you play it in a wrong technique, there are so many chances. There are a lot of chances you could ruin your wrist. There are
Oof.
so many this thing which happens, like muscle
Okay.
damage, uh, Tendinitis. Tendinitis is one major risk which all the pianists run through. So all
Right.
your tendons starts rubbing very fast, and it starts your hand. You can't play after that for around good amount of months.
Oh,
One of my
wow.
friends actually got tendinitis and couldn't play for 6 months.
Mm.
So you have to be very careful when you play piano. With
Mm.
keyboard, you don't have to do all that things because keyboard is not a hammer action thing. It's those are very soft keys to play on. So it's
Mm.
really easy. So
Mm.
with piano, a lot of things are different. Your posture, your hand movements, your playing style. You have to be really careful in order to play well
Mm.
and play safe. So that's all what Adam taught me. And then
Nice.
a lot of things: composition, score writing, music. Score writing, not much, but majorly how to read, because I actually was not as good as a student when I was studying, because my major interest used to be that time just to play piano. And when I shifted to Tiptoe, I was just to production. I was not attending many of the other classes,
Right.
but they still helped me a lot.
Yeah.
KM helped me a lot in order to
Awesome.
come to a place where I can do something.
So amazing. Nice to hear. I absolutely love the vibe whenever I visited KMN, and there was a tour organized even when I was there in Chennai in the month of June. In fact, Fatima ji had organized that, and then yeah, it was amazing. But there was one thing that I wanted to ask you. Obviously, I've seen this little play card on the wall, no selfies with the principal, and then there's a fine and all that. Did you end up getting a fine or something for anything of that sort at all?
Never. I have been incredibly lucky because the first selfie I took with sir was what he took
Huh.
during a concert.
Sufi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Karthik Anna went to sir and was like, everyone want pictures. And then sir was like, okay, come. And then we all took pictures with them. He
Oh, yeah.
only took the camera and he only clicked pictures with us. So we never had that fine thing. We were happy till the end of the college term.
So good. And then another thing is, obviously, having learned how to play a piano, did you reach a stage where the piano could be covered in a piece of cloth and you could still play?
No.
Okay.
That requires a lot.
Is that
Lydian
right?
can do that. Lydian can do that. I
Did he?
can't. Yeah.
Wow. And I'm sure Adam can do that too. I was just curious. That's all. I was just thinking, is that possible? Like, is if I were to be, I mean, I would have to have a look at each and every key, and then ting ting ting, it'll go like this.
No,
But
no,
that's me.
you obviously instinctively play now. I mean, if I have to play looking at the singer, I can play. I won't play wrong notes, that's for sure.
Huh.
But that is instinctively you can play. I won't say you can't play if you don't look down at all. You'll
Huh.
start, you get the judgment of where your notes are and you start playing. But not like, not for everything. If I have to play a piece, if I have to play a Western classical proper piano solo, I need to prepare. I can't just play like that.
No, but once you're prepared, you could play, right? Like it
Once
just
you're prepared, you can play. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, not like just play anything with closed eyes or whatever. And after having learned how to play a piano again, and after having learned all the techniques and everything under the guidance of Adam, you quit playing piano. Was he
Yes.
upset?
He asked me, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah." I remember saying, he was like, we were just applying for Dip 2, and I was like, "Sir, I want to take full music production." So he said, "Okay, down." Then he came down. I was standing and he was like, "Hey, so you sure full music production?" I'm like, "Yes, full 30 minutes of music production." He's like, "Okay." And then I completely quit piano that year.
Right. So you still play or you don't?
I play, but not as well as used to play before.
Right, right. Okay. Cool.
But
Awesome.
it's fine. It turned out fine.
Nice. Okay, let's now jump into your internship program. So, day one, you're entering the studio as an intern. What happens and what was going through?
Day one, I had called Suresh and Suresh has come to AM.
Yeah.
So AM first floor is where I started my internship.
Hmm.
He said there are two artists who are gonna come. You just need to record them. So Mr. Late Viveri Kumar sir, Kumar sir was a percussion player. He was sir's friend and he was a very amazing percussion player. And second was Sunil sir, Sunil Milner. Again, sir's old friends, but he's a very good guitar player. So they used to record some stuff there. And Suresh Anna called me, say, it's your job now to come here daily and record them, one piece each day. So for at least 2 months in the beginning, I just used to come there, set up microphones, record those guys, and keep this thing ready. Make like 15 versions of rhythms every day. We used to make one rhythm piece, and then we used to send it off to Suresh Anna. So
When you say record, what do you do? Like, what? Just push the button, record, and then that's it, or what? Like, what do you give cues to the musician? What
yeah,
really happens when you say record?
so what really happens as in Kumar sir was himself he was an amazing musician, he's an amazing percussionist. So he used to always have an idea of what he wants to record. So he used to come, he used to tell me, okay, let's try this groove. All we used to do is, okay, we'll give him some different ideas, we'll try to add some ideas if he likes, because see, he was a very senior artist, so I can't tell him what I want.
Yeah.
I have to listen to what he wants and then get a little bit of what I want to make it sound like the way we are expecting it to. So I had to work with him. He used to come play some grooves, and he used to come listen. Then we used to discuss what we can add here, so we can add this, to do some editing, and then he used to go again play stuff. So this is how we did a very collaborative kind of recording sessions with him. He was a very fun person to be with. He used to be like very calm. He used to come. He used to be very always in a great mood to come play. Never got upset if we are saying, sir, let's do one more take. He used to be like, yeah, fine. How many you want? Let's get the best thing out. I had that attitude, and that attitude was something, which is really, which is rare when you look at a person of his stature. This great artist who have experienced more than my age, and they're still coming and being respectful to you. That's really sweet. And then this is how we started recording collaborative, similar with Sunil sir. He used to come, he was an amazing guitar player. So he used to come and play stuff which I wouldn't imagine. Like, oh, you can do that. And he just played, yeah, this is how it is supposed to be. And then he used to develop some of his ideas. So a lot of stuff I did for the first 2 months of my internship was just recording artists. Then just keeping a bank of this thing ready. It was pretty fun.
Understand. And so, as an intern, did you have any timings like you should go at 7 a.m. and then return by at something of that sort? Like what? How many hours did you have to put in?
So earlier when I was interning, I used to go at 7 in the evening, and I used to come back around 11. That was my timing. Because
11 in
Kumar
the
sir used
same.
to,
Oh, the same night evening. Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So Kumar
okay.
sir,
Couple of
Kumar
hours.
sir, couple of hours. And then Sunil sir joined later. So that was 2 to 5 in the afternoon, and then 7 to 11 in the evening.
Huh.
So just record these guys and send the bouncers to Suresh and come back. That was my job
Okay. So
during
you
internship.
right. So you would record multiple versions and then you'll send the whole lot to him and then
Yeah.
right. Okay. So what happened after 2 months?
So I was doing the sessions, like idea recording sessions. So one day I went to Panchatan for a coffee, and Bigil was going on that time.
Okay.
And Jerry was writing score on the laptop on Sibelius. He was writing a notation, strings notation for the recording. And I saw it and I was like, hey, I can help. So he said, you know how to write? I was like, yeah, I know how to write. He said, okay, take. So then he gave me one small section to write, which I wrote it off. And he said, okay, thank you. And he left. Then the recording happened. Next day, Chetan Anna comes to me and says, hey, you wrote correct. Good job. I was like, okay, thank you. And then I went to again record my idea. Then Suresh Anna called me saying, come to Panchatan, sir is calling.
Huh.
And I was like, sir is calling because
that's the first time you're meeting him as an intern.
Yeah. So till then, sir had never called me for stuff, any of the stuff. So he didn't say sir is calling. He said there is one song which we have to record. Come, we have to take the notations. And Jerry and I told sir that this is a new guy. He writes. So sir called saying, call him, let him write. So I went to the studio. So sir had just finished the song. I waited. Once he's done, I went in, I took the session. That's the first time sir said hi. And then he left. I took the session. I started writing. Then I finished that song. went for the Chennai strings session. So this is how I started writing scores, which was the beginning stuff for me. I used to write scores for all the string recordings along with Jerry Anna. So I was assisting Jerry that time. So this is how I went. Then Sir gave me his first song to write. Then I started writing. So this is how it moved
Which
from
song was it?
I think Unakaga
Uh-huh.
scores strings notes which I wrote for was
Yeah.
Unakaga.
Yeah.
So I finished that. Then after that, entire Bigil background score came. So I started writing notes along with Jerry Anna for Bigil background score.
Mm.
So that was my first solid project after internship was Bigil.
Wow. Okay. Right.
So we started writing notes for orchestra. Then used to go supervise recordings.
Mm.
As I was a very new, I was not alone. Always Chetan Anna used to be there, and I
Mm.
used to assist Chetan Anna there. I used to just be present there, so
Mm.
make sure that the notes are not wrong. But apart from that, that's how I started during Bigil.
So nice. So talking of Bigel, obviously the movie release, it was a super hit and all that, and there was also a party, right, with
Yeah,
the entire team, and you were there in that party.
yeah, yeah.
Tell me,
And
talk me through that party. What happened there?
uh, so like sir, until he knows you well, he's not really interactive. You know that. So first time he looked at me, he smiled and he went off.
Mm.
And Madhura, I think after that song, she had come, she sang Unakaga, right? So she
Yeah,
had
yeah.
come. So then we had a small performance thing where Nexa musicians had come and perform.
Mm.
So me and Madhura prepared one song and we performed it. So when we were jamming, his so came, he saw us and he was like, oh, nice.
Mm.
You know, he just smiled and I said, nice. And then he left. And then we performed that one song with him. Then he took one group picture with all of us. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty much team bonding. And I was really new. So I didn't really know much about anyone. I was just stuck around with Jerry enough for some time and then I'll just go all my way because I had no interaction with anyone before that. So yeah. So before COVID, my journey was like literally going there once or twice a month, taking one notation, writing down, and going for recording done. That's all I used to do before.
Right. And now that you have known, a lot more people within the team, it's a different type of bonding. I take it.
Yes. Now it's much different.
Yeah.
Way too different.
Right.
This is all
Like in
last
what
since
way? Like,
last
do
year.
you guys hang out and stuff
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
outside
So
of work?
earlier it used to be not really because we guys
You don't get time.
when we are together majorly we are there like in the studio for a long amount of time. So
Yeah.
it's really fun to be around like entire Punyan Selvan, me and Suresh Anna were like being there throughout, finishing our work, doing some time pass around here and there, again getting back to work. So we did a lot. We had a great time. Me, Shrikant, Suresh Anna, because Nakul and Sir and Karthik were on the tour. So
Correct.
we three were there. We used to do a lot of fun during that
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And work was also so it's really good to have a great team which is supportive of you all the time. And thankfully our team is like that. They support each other no matter what.
Mm.
So it's pretty good.
So nice. And then I remember Maniratnam was also there at the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were there, no? Then when he had visited, I
Yes.
thought I had seen a picture.
Yeah. This was Bombay studio. I had gone for Lema's work, and Manisha was, and all the team of the PS had come.
Ah,
So we all
right.
had a group picture in Bombay.
Ah, right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Right. I'll talk more about that. So, um, what were the other projects after Bigel? What were the other projects that you started working on?
After Bigel, I think I wrote for Cobra,
Uh-huh.
Tumbi Tullal. Tumbi Tullal had released. After that, immediately, I think next year, during the lockdown, Tumbi Tullal had released.
Yeah.
So I worked on that. And then Sir called me for NLM, which was another one of his projects, which is not in the books right now. I don't know what. I just went there, did one recording session.
Mm.
But then I think my father got COVID and he
Oh.
had to be hospitalized. So I had to rush back to my hometown.
Mm.
And when I came back, the second lockdown started. So
Yeah.
again, we all were pretty much away. Then the first major project I got to work with was House of Secrets, the Netflix documentary.
Mm.
So that was the first time they all left the entire thing from booking the orchestra to recording it and making sure that they are playing well. So I did entire of that thing, writing scores, making the orchestra playing, supervising the recording alone, and getting to this. So that was the first project where I got to actively work
Right.
as a as an engineer, as a supervisor, as a string supervisor. It was pretty fun.
Great.
So I used to write notes and I used to record everything. And thankfully, it went well, I think, because whenever I think Sir liked whatever I had done and he was happy. So that's how I think that was after some time I got some good work, was House of Secrets.
Nice.
It was my
So
first project.
I'm going to ask you a very dumb question. So when you say write a score, what do you write? Like, what sort of inputs do you get from Sir, and then what exactly are you writing?
So you see, when we are doing a song, we do programming, right? So
Uh-huh.
programming, we program strings. So as Sir does everything by himself, he's the only composer I know who does everything by himself,
Yeah.
programming everything. So our job is to just take down whatever he has programmed, write it down, and give it for the orchestra to play.
Mm.
So
Okay.
whatever he has done, we copy whatever he has done in the MIDI, we copy it on the sheet and we give it to the orchestra to play.
Right. So you're basically just translating what he has.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly as what he has done, we translate that into the paper and we give it to the orchestra.
Got it. Oh, wow. Okay. That's so amazing.
So it
Right.
was very scary in the beginning, but
Uh-huh.
then got better.
So let's think of something like this. So he's played something in his MIDI keyboard and he sent it off to you, and you've been tasked to write it and get the score done. Okay. So once you have written it, does it go back to Sir
No,
for a review?
but it used to go to Jerry
It goes to Jerry for a review. So which means,
before.
it
Before.
used to. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was writing, I used to always send it to Jerry for checking. And now also, whenever Jerry is conducting, I send him the score before. So he runs through once the score and then he goes in, because he needs to just make sure that everything is correct. There's nothing wrong in the notes.
Right, right. So which means he's hearing the or playing the MIDI recording first and then looking at your.
Sheet. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's how we check. Even I checked a lot of PS score. When whoever used to write the scores, I used to check the notations if they're correct or not, and then we will send to the orchestra. Because otherwise, if there are changes, you can't waste time on an orchestral level. When you
Correct.
have a session booked, you can't waste time there. So you have to make sure that whatever you send them is pakka.
Understand. So now let's talk about the orchestral thing part. Now you have a session booked with the orchestra, right? So
Hmm.
you usually have some sort of a time set up saying between 12 and 12:30 or 12 to 1. And are you limited to the number of takes and all that? How does it work?
You have a time for supposedly 12 to 2. You have a 2 hour session. So your major job is to finish as much as you can, keeping the quality integrity good. You
Hmm.
have to finish your recording and you have to try to finish as much as content possible. When you're recording good orchestras, it becomes easier because they basically play really well. So all you have to all your job is to make sure you get the best takes of them, and then you move on. So if I have to make sure that I finish the content with the good quality of the recording.
Okay, right. So when you say good quality, like what sort of what do you call standards have been set, or like um,
So when it comes to recordings, music is all about dynamics, the feel. So first and the foremost important thing is the feel in the way they are playing, the
mm,
tuning, how they are playing, how is the pitching, because that's the most important thing, pitching and feel. You
mm,
get these two things right, you can fix everything else. So it's always basically pitch and feel needs to be correct whenever you're
right.
recording it.
Okay, right, understand. And talking of like Ponniyin Selvan, is there anything that you would want to touch on from a score perspective?
Ponniyin Selvan score is magnificent.
Mm, of course.
It's brilliant, and I am so lucky that I have been a small part of that project. That project was really, really one of the most beautiful projects I have ever worked on. And no matter the quality of score which sir has done for that, oh my god. And I'm really thankful. Nakul
Hmm.
sir has done best music, and Nakul also, as a music supervisor, he's so easy to work with. He's so sorted. He's so, he's so passionate. He's so comfortable. Not even comfortable. I'm not getting the right word for him,
Hmm.
but with him being there, things have gotten really, really clean for us.
Hmm.
So our jobs were really easier because of Nakul. So Nakul's was the most important thing was Nakul handled the project really well for sir. And the music which sir has done for that project was like, it's like straight out crazy. Cannot even believe
Yeah.
how, you know,
Indeed.
the music is exceptionally well.
Yeah.
So many things when while watching the scores only, while watching him work only, we had got goosebumps at almost every point of time.
Hmm.
So I mean, Punyan Selvan is like one of the biggest projects I have ever worked on and I have ever seen, and I enjoyed the process for like, I'll always cherish that process.
So good.
Punyan Selvan can't
Hmm.
even, I still don't get over it honestly.
So good. You said was, right? Like was this project was, but the second part is yet to come. So
Yeah.
what can we expect in the second part? How many songs are there? Tell me.
Okay, that is something which I'm not sure I'm the right person to tell, but I think yeah.
How many
But
songs have
I'm
you worked on? There, tell me that part.
not anything on PS2. No, I
Okay.
have not touched PS2 yet.
Mm,
I've been working with the Fidos Orchestra since after that project.
understand.
So yeah,
But yeah,
but
you've heard the tracks for PS2 though, right?
I don't know. I mean,
Hey, what man? This is your podcast. You need to be talking about stuff.
I know, but I think PS1 is enough right now. PS2 will get to that.
I was just pulling your leg. I knew.
I know, I know, I know.
I knew you wouldn't be talking about it. So moving away slightly from the orchestra side of the world, music production, right?
Hmm.
Talk me through that bit. So I understand that Sir obviously does majority of the stuff. Then it comes to you guys. Can I say polish it or enhance it? What really happens in the what do you do as a music producer?
Our job, actually, to be honest, when it comes to when we are doing something for sir, it's whenever he has done something, it's always pakka. We don't really have to do anything with it. And everything when it comes to this stuff is done by sir.
Hmm.
Composing, programming, all that stuff.
Hmm.
Our thing is to, if, as a music producer, my thing will be I'll just add a little stuff where I feel, but but apart from that, I don't think usually we even need to do that. Our job is to, my job majorly will come in concert when sir is programmed us, so has given something certainly the way he wants. He'll tell us what he wants. We'll
Hmm.
just produce exactly what he says. So it's whatever we do is always a direct direction from sir. It's exactly what he wants is what we do. We don't do
Nice.
anything different, or until he's asked us to do something, we won't do it. He'll exactly tell what he wants, and we'll exactly follow whatever he says.
So which was the
And that's
first
how it
track
goes.
that you worked as a music producer?
I have not done full tracks for him. I have been working on orchestral
Hmm.
arrangements along with him for background scores alone. But
Hmm.
yeah, I did a little additional programming for Kodi Kodi and Alai Kadal
Hmm.
for PS, but very little. But I have been majorly working on background scores. So he'll give us voice notes for cues and all, and we'll work like that. Whatever he
Oh,
says, we follow
understand.
exactly as is. So
Right.
I majorly work on background scores. I'm not someone who is much into song.
But is that an area that you would like to go into, or is
I
that
actually love working on scores.
you like to work only on? You would rather focus on sports.
I prefer working on scores. Even for my own stuff, I prefer working on scores because I am more of a background score person. I like doing that stuff.
Okay. Nice.
because that that gives me a amount of freedom which none of the songs can give.
Like in what way?
In this in score area, I can do whatever I feel like. I don't have to come back to something. I can do whatever I feel like. If I want to use an orchestral and put a tribal arrangement to it, I can do that. But with song, with the current scenario, you need to have there is a certain thing called commercial approach, which you have to give it for your songs
Mm.
so that it appeals to people. But when it comes to scores, you don't have to. It's not. You have to appeal to the scene. You don't have to care if people, because none of the Indians anyways listen to background scores. Very less. Very few people are there who actually pay attention to the scores.
Hey, we as
But
fans do, man.
yeah, I know. That's what I said. Very few. Not everyone. I mean, if you have so many people, they don't really understand what's happening in the background. They're just watching the film. So when it comes to background score, my job is to make sure what's apt for the scene. And
Yeah.
that's when I can do a lot of experimentations which I feel like,
Yeah.
which I have to limit when I'm doing songs. So I love scores that.
Okay. Uh, can I ask you a question? This is just because you obviously extensively worked on background scores, right? So obviously you've received a cue or a MIDI recording or whatever that is from Sir for a certain sequence, okay? And then you're obviously writing the notations and then getting the score done. Um, so many movies and so many cues and d- has it ever occurred where you've received a cue and it kind of sounds very similar to a movie or another score that was done months ago? Does that ever happen at all, or it's always new, everything that you get is new and there is no any similarities might be there but nothing identical? What I'm trying to
No,
say is there is no room for duplication at all, like even
no,
inadvertently.
no. That's the beauty of Sir. I mean, with each and every film, his sound changes.
Right.
His entire thematic idea and approach also changes. So when he is doing, supposedly he's doing PS and then he's doing VTK.
Hmm.
If you listen to background scores of the both movies were doing parallelly. VTK was released in 15th September and PS was released on 30th September.
Correct.
So both of the movies were worked on parallelly. But still you feel, if you listen to the scores, both of them are completely different when it
Hmm.
comes to, you know,
Hmm.
so when it comes to the sound of it. So with Sir, you'll never have that thing. He is a man who is I don't know what he channelizes something else when he's composing, and you cannot find one similarity between this score and this score. Even if both the movies are happening parallelly, you see the tonal difference in VTK and the tonal difference in Ponniyin Selvan is, you can easily find
Hmm.
it out that this is a completely different score. You'll not even feel like it's done by Sir. It's done by the same composer because the tonality is completely different of both the scores, but he still manages to do it, and that is something I've not seen in many other people.
Hmm.
Because I've seen many other composers, when you listen to the sound, it gets like a similar sound, but with Sir, his way of dealing with everything is so different that you can't believe that he is the person who did Rockstar, he is the person who did Tamasha and PS and VTK,
It's amazing.
and you can still see the difference of variety.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's Sir. I've never encountered any stuff which been like,
Yeah, I was just curious. That's all. Because obviously, here's a man, a legend, rather, keeps giving ideas one after the other, one after the other. There is no room for, any duplication or an idea that might have come before. So I was just curious. That's all. And
yeah.
yeah, and because okay, this is like you've been a fan, obviously you're still a fan of Sir, no doubt about it, and you will always will be. Then after having now working with him, and then you are getting into music production side of things as well. Rockstar has been a very instrumental thing for you in terms of getting you into the music. Have And now that you're in the studio, have you ever had the opportunity to go back to any of your favorite songs and open up a project and see how the breakdown has been done? Have you done this? Or out of
Sad,
curiosity, that's what I'm asking.
sadly, whatever Rockstar projects don't they open anymore. The versions what they have worked on old machines. I'd love to go and watch a Rockstar session, but sadly I can't. I don't access anything until I have a permission from anyone,
Of course,
because being in studio you have to maintain that integrity and decorum.
indeed.
But yeah, I would really love if I could get that opportunity. I've never done that till now. I'd ask if I can do that.
Right. Okay. No, I was just curious, that's all. Or,
Yeah.
okay, here's another thing. Have you, during all your conversations with Sir, has there been an opportunity where you have actually asked him how he went about composing one of your favorite songs or a song? How did he come up with something like this?
I actually had told him not similar stuff, but I had told him something else regarding Tamasha.
Huh.
So I came into music after watching that movie, and that movie actually hit me really hard, Tamasha.
Right.
So I watched
Right.
that movie, and I think in 2 weeks I quit my job, because that movie actually had motivated me to quit. I was fortunate enough to tell this to Imtiaz Ali also, that
Uh-huh.
thank you, sir, for your movie, that I quit my job, I came into music. So I did mention, sir, that Sir Tamasha had been one of the most important movies for me, because that is the movie I'm standing here.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah, I had gotten opportunities to tell him that, and yeah, I had spoken to him about some of the scores. I had spoken to him about Robo's one score, which I loved. I was like, "Sir, how did you do that? It is so beautiful." But the best part about him is he's like so above it. He's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
you won't listen him. You won't. He's the only person I've heard not say anything about it. He's like, you liked it? I'm like, yes, I loved it. That's all. That's all you get. So he's that, he's seen so much, and he's so still down the ground, and he always speaks to you, that you're like, oh my, you're just privileged. Like, you don't get to tell this to anyone ever. You
Yeah.
get to tell it to sir, and then you. So it's a really different response, and I love it. I mean, I still go and tell him, sir, I loved it. It sounds
Mm.
so. He's like, thank you.
Mm.
That's all he says, nothing else.
And tell me any of the breakfast conversations with Sir.
Breakfast conversations. Yeah, he is actually very sweet. If sometimes I had skipped my breakfast, he'll ask Abdul to call me, and he'll sit and he'll make sure we eat.
Mm.
That's one thing I've seen in him. He's very caring about all of us. So if and anyone of all of us are working really hard, so he knows that, and he'll make sure that everyone is eating on time. And breakfast conversations not particular, because when sir is around, you're always scared. Because he's still sir, no. So
Mm.
you'll always have that one thing, but not really. But whenever he speaks, he'll just be really, he'll be really sweet to you. You won't realize that you're sitting to an Oscar-winning composer, because he makes you feel so comfortable. So
Yeah.
not any significant these things I have
Yeah.
regarding that, but I had a good time with him. Whenever I was fortunate that we all went out for breakfast during in Dubai for a couple of times, me, Hriday, Hiral. So
Mm.
and Abdul you will come. Then it they were good. We had good conversations, but nothing significant. But it
Yeah.
was
Right.
just like a regular thing. But he's been really sweet. He
Nice.
doesn't he doesn't bring work. He'll be like, you focus on eating, and then we'll get back to that.
Ah, nice.
So that
And
way
any
he's
of the jokes he has cracked, he's got an amazing sense of humor. Anything that
so many
stands out for you? I can tell you 10 jokes, but you tell me.
jokes. Doesn't I mean he's just witty.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
I mean he does make fun of me a lot.
Like what? Like what?
Literally makes fun of me a lot, and
To get married
anything.
or that part?
Not yeah. Once he has said that, but he just in general makes fun of me. Whenever
That's
he
the
sees,
first
he'll
thing he
say
tells me
something.
every single time I talk to him or meet him.
What?
about getting married.
He told me that also. He told me during once, like, yeah, like, you need to get married. What are you doing? Then I had lost really too much weight. So he was like, hey, you're too slim to be an orchestrator. You need to be fat. So he kept on feeding me until I gained weight. And one day he was like, you're fat. I'm happy. And I was like, what? It does make fun of me a lot for that.
Right.
But I mean, it's fine. It's so doesn't
Amazing.
matter.
So, tell me something. So, you've been part of the releases of a number of soundtracks, like the most recent one, Ponniyin Selvan, VTK, and so many others, right? So, I'm just curious, before a soundtrack releases, is there a certain ritual inside the studio that this thing needs to happen, or a certain
Mm,
prayer, or sir will need to
not
do a prayer, or anything of that sort?
not as of my information, because once I deliver it, because whenever we deliver our stuff, it's majorly done. So if you this kind of questions only Suresh Anna can answer better, because they do a lot of stuff. I don't know, and I don't really know what's going on here.
Mm.
But no, I've not seen anything specially like this ever
Right.
in front of me. So I actually don't know about it.
Right. Okay, that's cool. And you traveling with sir. I mean, of course, you've been there in Dubai as well, and then you worked on the Why the musical as well?
Yes.
What like the scoring part again? Oh,
Scoring park also, I was assisting, whatever, like stemming. There's a lot of jobs when it
uh-huh.
comes to that. So now, after, I think, after Dubai Expo, I've been doing multiple things. Just apart from writing, I've been doing a lot of other things, a little additional programming, and then a lot of being a part of project. Whatever needs to be done, I have done that. So
Right.
why the musical also, I got to work really extensively.
Hmm.
For that was my first proper project with Sir. Honestly, Dubai Expo is my first proper project with him,
Hmm.
including Why the Musical and Firdaus concerts.
Right. Right.
So that's when actually I started working with him. So he just remembers me that Shubham is working for 1 year. He doesn't know the last 2 years. It's just 1 year he knows.
Okay. Right. And you also worked on the concert that just happened,
Yeah,
19th of November.
November. Yeah.
Right. So, like, what did you work on? Like, what bits?
So we had selected some of the pieces what we had already performed for the best of Firdaus. Then we had done
Yeah.
search pieces like Spirit of Rangila. So Tiruda's background score. Spirit
Mm.
of Rangila we had done. Rajnikant medley we had made. So I went there. I am the music supervisor for the show. So my job is to make sure that the orchestra is playing well,
Yeah.
correct. Every small changes in the scores of they need changes in the scores, detailings, whatever I need to do, whatever they need from me. And the orchestra is really brilliant. So whatever help they need from our end, like in terms of changing notations or whatever, I have to be there to make sure that. For that I had so I'm taking care of that. So yeah, basically to make sure that the concert goes well, I have to be there for that.
Right. And of course, you're going to be there for the remainder of the concerts as well, which have been planned.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And what else? So now that okay, before I jump into that part, so you obviously worked on a number of background scores and a number of projects and stuff. So is there an opportunity, or is this even possible for you to go through a breakdown of a project and showcase, to walk through on how something has been scored and composed, from like opening logic, and then I'm just asking more from a technical background, technical
Mm.
breakdown perspective.
I The problem is I don't have any of the sessions here with me.
Right.
Everything is in the studio.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I can't do that because it's
Okay.
all in the studio. But I mean, yeah, that's a tricky part which I can't actually.
I agree. I agree. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so, Um, Now that so how long have you been with Sir now? Like it's almost a decade now, right?
Huh?
You how long have you been with Sir now? Like
Uh,
from
Properly from 2000, no, interning from 2019, properly
okay,
working with him 2021.
okay, understand. Right.
Dubai Expo,
But
September.
your journey kind of started.
A journey like that, yeah, 2011.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So what was I going to say? So life has changed now, having been with Sir now, and okay. So what's the way forward? Where do you see yourself? Like, do you have a certain vision that you're working towards, or
I mean, yeah, I want to become a composer.
mm.
So I'm also working in that direction. I'm doing my own projects, whatever
Oh
I
yeah.
get, small stuff. I'm doing that, and I hope that I could get to the place where I want to be. I want to become a composer on alone. I love doing background scores, so I want to get more projects.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm working in that direction as long as I can and make sure that I do deliver a good job, because I have been around where I've seen like you don't compromise, you just get the best out.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a challenge, but let's hope if it works out well. And
I'm sure
yeah,
it will. I'm sure it will.
someday I see myself becoming a composer, and I'm looking forward for that.
And we'll do another podcast then.
Yes,
But
but
what do your parents have to say, man? Like now that you've been working with Sir and you've had this journey so far.
I mean, they were really not happy with my decision to come into music in the
Is that
beginning.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
because my father was still supportive. He was like, "Okay, you go learn," but my mother was
Yeah.
like, "Not really. I don't think it's a good thing,"
Mm.
because I had a job, so they were just worried that will I be able to do it, because you're quitting job and coming to a completely new field. But I think since my first concert with Sir, I think my parents got a little confidence, and now they are actually pretty much chill. They're very happy about what I'm doing. So that's, and my
Do they
father is a
talk to you
musician.
about do they talk to you about what's in the future, where you're heading and all that? Do you have those conversations?
Not really. They trust me now. They know he'll figure out something, because they have seen tend to have a habit to figure out. I'll never, get stuck. So I
Okay.
know I always try to find a way out. So they have that much faith in me. So we don't really, my father just trusts me. He's a musician, so he knows everything about it.
Mm.
So
Nice.
thankfully, I've been blessed to have parents like them, because they, even after finishing engineering, they kept on
Mm.
helping me out for my studies here, expenses. They did everything for me,
Yeah.
they don't have to, but they did a lot of other expenses, so many other expenses, because it's really expensive to come here, live on your own.
Yeah, of course.
And so thankfully they did all that for me, and then this is why I'm able to do whatever I can, and no pressure, because I'm from Maharashtrian family background. In our part of the state, you don't see many people doing business, because the
Mm.
entire mentality is here to get a job and get settled.
Mm.
But thankfully my parents crossed that boundary and let me do what I feel like.
Nice. So
So
good.
yeah,
And having been with the team now, have you picked up Tamil or what?
very
Or only
little.
certain words?
It's very certain.
Hey, what,
Very
man?
little word.
Really?
I am very bad at learning languages, sadly. So yeah.
What words did you pick up?
சாவடிச்சிடுவே, போடா, all small words only. I can inge irke. But I still remember Suresh Anna getting pissed at me one day. It was like, I wanted to say irku is here, irke is where, is it here? So I was like, inge irke. He's like, talk in English. I'm like, it's here. I'm like, then it's inge irku. So then yeah, but it's fine.
Nice. Great. And dude, I mean, we're coming towards the end of the podcast. I've touched on various topics and also stages of your life or stages of your journey. Is there anything that you would like to talk about and I've not touched on?
No, I think you have, I mean, everything what has happened, I've already told. Everything Yeah, you have pretty much covered everything.
You
My
still
entire
haven't told
hobby.
how many songs are there in PS2.
Wait for April 2023. Before that, you'll have a complete idea about it.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah.
I
So,
know.
is there any other topic or any other aspect?
No, I think you got it covered. Like this is how much it has happened to me, and I've
Okay.
been just being honest to what we have got an
Absolutely.
opportunity
Yeah.
to. So
And
yeah,
message for Sir via this podcast.
thank you for tolerating me, and thank you for guiding me.
Is that it? That's all. Short and sweet.
Yes, he
Right.
knows
And
exactly what I mean.
I've been told you sing too, right?
Very bad. I'm a nightmare when it comes to singing. So yeah, I'll play piano decent, but I can't sing at all.
Yeah, right. Okay. Cool.
I
Dude,
think someone has said Shubham sings really bad, but you missed on that part.
cool. And lastly, before I let you go, is you had a journey where being a fan, studying music, switching careers, studying music, interning with Sir, and then working with him for a number of things, and the way forward as well. Is there a piece of advice that you would like to give for people who are wanting to pursue music?
Yeah, consistency is the only word. Keep working hard. Don't get discouraged. Just keep working hard. Always move forward. Anything and everything that happens in your life is for a reason. And I think when if you keep working hard, you'll always achieve what you want. Talent is another thing. Not everyone is blessed. Like we are not as blessed as many, but the way to success is, you know, hard work, not talent. Talent can only take you to a certain point, but work and the efforts you put in will only take you high. That's all.
Nice, nicely said. Awesome, dude. I had a lot of fun talking to you in this
Same
podcast.
here.
Then I'm pretty sure you will have ample of other projects that you'd have worked on probably this time next year. And then we should probably do. And who knows, you might even be a
Plays
composer
Austin
yourself. So
Thank you.
I really hope, and I wish you the best. And
Thank you.
as I said earlier, I keep a tab on all your success stories and all. So we definitely will catch up for podcast 2.0 with you when that
Definitely.
happens,
Definitely.
and hopefully that's an in-person podcast. So
Yeah. Lovely.
and
Blood on your hands, the poison on my fang. I'm a lady with the gunfire. Bang, bang, bang. Guess I'm the dynamite. You don't wanna fight. I go boom, boom, boom when I kiss you bad night.